Alright, I'm gonna make a log drawer front. So I figured I'd show you how I'm doing that.
So after cutting to length, I sanded the face of the drawer front smooth. The wood is northern white cedar. It is the first cut piece on the log when making boards. Usually ends up as firewood.
So now I'm making the pull handle. I wanted to experiment with some different options, and the handle is intentionally crude for the rustic look.
Alright, now I come over here with my sanded piece. I got my cabinet laying down backwards. And in theory, I should be 1 inch from the side. That should put me pretty close. Alright, and then I want 1 3/4. Ooh, it's fighting me. That's why I don't like tape measures. Alright, 1 3/4. 1 3/4. Just a hair over 1. Oh, that's on. One 3/4. 1 3/4. All right, once I got her centered over my drawer, since this thing is 22 inches long, I go over 11. And I have my center line. Alright. Boy, that sucks. It's going to be so close to that little knot. But that is life. And I'm going to go up probably right about there. Yeah, that looks good. Now I'm going to drill a hole all the way through this and in through the drawer. Woo! All right. Now we'll take it over to the bench. Alright, now we take our log piece, set it on top. We're using a carriage bolt. We jam that through, get her in our hole. Line it up to where we roughly want this thing. And with it in the hole, we'll see our true gap. Alright, and now I'm not liking that one. So I'm going to have to sand her just a hair more. I'll get that piece sorted out and then I'll bring you back. Alright, we got her where we want her. Roughly. Basically, I'm tightening this down. Gotta make sure you get your handle where you want her. Alright. Now what we gotta do, make sure the drawer itself, see, look how crazy that is. Alright. So, what we're shooting for is an even drawer, hey. 3/8. So then what I'm doing is I'm taking some screws and I am locking that in. All right, now we tighten up our handle. Sink that carriage bolt in there. Don't have to get crazy, I don't think. But I don't ever want to have to mess with it either, so just make sure you don't start spinning your carriage bolt. Alright, that's tight. Now we'll set her down. Throw our tape measure on the ground, because that's always good for it. Okay, we'll grab our Sawzall, a battery, and we shall cut this off. That is off. Now, take our grinder. Sometimes that would be hot, but I didn't figure it was going to be that hot this time, and it's not. But after you grind on something, I wouldn't recommend sticking your finger on it. That's just me though. Alright. There. Handles on. Drawer fronts on. I'll get the rest of them finished. I'll put the drawers back in. I'll show you what this looks like. Alright, so here's the finished project with these log face drawers. I think it turned out pretty good. And there's a few things I would change. Like you look at this bottom drawer. I swear to you, that's cedar. It looks like pine, but it's cedar. It smelled like cedar, cut like cedar, lifted like cedar, it was super light, and it came off a cedar tree. So, I don't know why it looks so dramatically different than these three, but it is what it is. And just to change it up and make it so people might not notice as much on how dramatically different this color is, I painted a couple bears on there. But basically, for as far as using these first sawmill cut scraps that would normally be campfire wood, I think it worked great. And using these handles, these little branch pieces, or wasn't even really branches, it was just super skinny little northern white cedar trees, and cutting them down. I mean, most of this drawer is pretty much scrap. You know, all these pieces would have pretty much been scrap, and we salvaged them and turned them basically into some decent looking drawer fronts. So there she is. Few things I would change on this bottom one. I don't know if it's showing up on the camera, but I was getting lazy, and to get some of the bark off, I used heavy grit sanding pad on the angle grinder. And when you had this sanded down, and then I went over it with the orbital sander, but it looked like I had all the marks sanded out of it, but now looking at it, I obviously didn't. But such is life. That's character, learning experience. So I just wanted to show you how it looked, how simple it was to make it, how cheap it was to make it, and there it is. I basically got this covered one coat right now of cherry tinted Danish oil. So that's what she looks like with that. But all right, thanks for watching.